are ready to work, and I hope you have warmed up already. We'll go over some of the equipment you might need, and we'll kind of dive into the workout. So it will be a strength-based workout. We of course will have heart rate elevated because we won't have a lot of rest times, and we'll do some body weight and conditioning movements. You will need some sort of big fluffy chair like so, or an ottoman or bench you can kind of get your back on. You can also use a workout bench if you do have a home gym or workout equipment at home. So like a bench, you would do a bench press on. So you can do that. Or if you don't have any of those, you can also use a stability ball. I will show you with that. Sometimes that gets a little wonky though, and we can do a floor option as well. And when we get into it later in the workout, I'll show that. You also, if you have furniture movers or gliders, if you don't, you can fold a towel if you have a hardwood floor and put your feet on a towel and that'll slide if you kind of fold it up, or paper plates on a carpet. If you don't want to go find all those things, I will show you again an option without those. And then dumbbells or something heavy to hold on to and weight your movements. And space. So first section, we will be working body weight movements. There will be 5 movements, 30 seconds apiece. There will only be 5 seconds to switch and transition. So I'll try and give you a heads up whether we're standing up, staying down, that sort of thing before we get into it. The 5 movements, we have an alternating lateral squat. So you do want to start the feet apart. We're going to keep them apart as we sit side to side. So find the right distance there, side to side. And then if you do have any kind of knee issues, you can bring it back to a normal squat. Then we're going to go down on the ground for a core movement, hollow hold with a pump. And I'll talk about that more when we get down there. Then we're going to stand up for a single leg deadlift. Again, using body weight, focusing on those hips staying forward. And I'll talk through that as we go. Okay, we'll stay one side. Then we're going to go seal jacks, arms out and in. Feet do not cross, arms cross. And then we will finish back on the ground for a side plank variation. So that's that. Then we'll get into more strength specific after we get that body fully ready to go. So 30 seconds of work, 5 seconds to rest. I hope you are ready. Starting with that lateral squat. Here we go. So wide feet, sitting side to side. Okay, so still think about the hips traveling down towards the heel. So again, kind of adjust the feet where you need them to be. Watch the toes, you don't want them completely out this way. We do want them facing fairly forward. Some are gonna be more comfortable with a slight turnout. Okay, again, go to a normal squat position if this is pulling on the knees and you have trouble there. All right, so we're on our backs. Legs out. Scoop the belly out, pull in tight, and we're pumping those arms. So same thing as the Pilates 100. Think about reaching those legs long, pushing that middle back down into the ground, shoulder blades coming up, and we're slapping that water. Blow the air out. Keep breathing out. And when it beeps, we're gonna get up on our feet. Here we go. Up on our feet, single leg deadlift. So plant that one leg into the ground, reach the other leg back, stand up nice and tall. So we're opening up that hamstring, feeling it get long, and then short as we come up. So here, again, we don't have weight. Really focus on hips facing forward, reaching that other leg back, lowering down, long spine. Remember what leg you just did. Okay, stay on your feet, seal jacks. So out and in, we're gonna cross that air with our sharp arms. Soft landing with the legs. You could take that to a tap, take out that impact. We want that body moving. Light on the feet. Good. Hang here. Next, we will be on the ground. All right, side plank. So again, I want you to stay one side. I'm gonna stay on the same side of the leg I did. So here, okay, and then we can add a leg lift if you want to progress that. Just a slight lift, Try not to change where your hips are facing as you lift. Modification, drop that knee and lift here. Okay, so we have some options. Always going with what's going to challenge you. You can take that leg away and just hold, focusing on that side body, pulling up tight. Okay, that's where we want the focus. All right, back on our feet. Round one done. Feet wide, here we go. Side to side. So heart rate will slowly start to get up here. And sitting down, driving up out of that hole. Breathe. Nice. A little bit more. Remember that we're on our backs. Here we go, down on the ground. Hollow hold with the pump. Reach those legs. Reach those shoulders up. Reach those fingertips. Straight arms. I don't want any of this. The straight arms create resistance with the body. I want you to exhale air from the belly. That's what pulls that belly button down and in. All right, up on our feet. Single leg deadlift. Hit the other leg. So we're on our other leg. Reach. Always take a second. Doesn't matter if you don't start right with that beat, right with me. We're about lowering from that hip. Pushing back. Anchor that one leg into the ground. Again, if you needed to kind of hang on to something, that's fine. Don't death grip it. Just have it there for support. Okay, seal jacks. So remember, light on the feet. Strike that air. So this is round two. We do have 4 rounds. Again, we just want to get that body ready for a little bit more load. Out, in, out, in. Yeah. Okay, side plank. Hit that other side. Go, lift. An optional leg lift here. Breathe. And modification, drop, hold, or you can do a modified with the lift. Okay, we're back up. Lateral squats, wide feet, sitting down. Number 3, I always say round 3 is the hardest. You've already done 2. You know you still have 1 more. So get through this one. Again, we're still just kind of getting there. Everything's revving up. Always still giving it your all, even in these, quote, easier movements without weight. Okay, on our backs. Readjust my pants. Hit the water. Legs long. So you can start to bend if you feel that back lifting up, because we want all that tension here in the belly. So if your back starts to kind of pop up off the ground, drop the knees, or bend at the knees, drop the legs. Or again, extend it a little bit harder, reach those legs. Okay, up on our feet. Back to that first leg. Single leg deadlift. Reach long. So now that I'm facing you, you'll notice shoulders stay even. As I tip forward from that hip, pushing that hip behind me, pulling that hip back underneath. So upper torso staying locked in. Whoop. Change my arm position, it throws you off. Good, lowering. We are in that, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, seal jacks. How could I forget? Seal jacks. You probably remember them home. Again, we can tap. I have a lot of coffee. I'm going to tap a little bit. Keep those arms crisp. Okay, down on the ground, side plank. So back on that first side, lift. Whenever you set up a side plank, think hips stacked. Sometimes I see a forward with the top shoulder or open. Think stacked right on top. Even with that lift, we're not changing. And with that effort, pulling up through this side closest to the ground. So tight there. Okay, one more round, guys. Feet wide. Here we go, sit down, up. Nice. And breathe as we go. One more time through. Yeah, hopefully set out a smile. It's still early. Okay, powell hold. Again, kind of push down, pull the ribs down and in, pump, create that resistance. Always think about as much being active as possible, not letting any relaxation happen. Keep it here. Okay, up on our feet. We got that last leg for single leg deadlift. So we're gonna hips forward, plant that one leg. Might have to adjust. There we go. So sometimes I think people get caught up when they think about reaching their upper body. Always think about this movement starting from my hips down. So my hips reach back, my knee bends a little bit, opening up the back of that leg, and that's gonna naturally lower this upper half. Okay, seal jacks. Last set of jacks here. Body should be getting warm. Out, in, out, in. Okay, side plank, last side here. Lift, again, set it up. Doesn't have to be a super high lift. Woo! Tell you what, this morning it's one of those mornings I'm knocking stuff over, falling all over, but that's okay, you show up. You work through it. Just show up. Okay. All right. Should be the theme of 2020. Just show up. We'll deal with it as we go. Okay, so now we're going to get into needing some of the equipment. And we're going to move into a more independent situation here. So we're going to work for 6 minutes on 2 exercises at a time. So for these first 2 exercises, it's going to be a traveling lunge. I'll show you, if you do have issues with the lunge or knees, a different variation. But we're going to go a traveling lunge. So make sure you have room to at least take, I would say, 3 or 4 steps in one direction. Obviously, I'm going to be a little bit more limited for you guys here, so I'll stay stationary, but enough to take a few steps forward. You can kind of turn a few steps back where you came from. So traveling lunges, I'll show those, and then a reverse push-up. So for the lunges, I'm going to use a dumbbell at the chest. So if you have something to weight, dumbbell, like kettlebell, or moderate kettlebell, doesn't have to be light. We're gonna take a few steps. So stepping into the lunge, dropping 90 degrees. Again, for me, I'm gonna be close quarters. So you're gonna take 10 steps. So in whatever direction, 10 steps total. So not each leg, just total. If you don't have the room for the lunge, or your knees do tend to bother you, split your feet, straight down, straight up, or kind of an in-between. When you step back in a lunge, tends to take a little bit of strain off that front knee. So you could always step back into lunge. So we have traveling lunges. You're gonna do 10 steps, and then we're gonna do a reverse push-up. So looks like this, and then tell you how to figure it out. So we're gonna go down into the push-up. Chest goes in the middle of the hands. You want to think about pushing the floor away above your head, and then you center back out. So it's almost like you get a push-up on the way down, an overhead press on the way back, and you just use your body to shift back. Now on that overhead press part, you do have to allow your hips to go back. But I don't want you to confuse it with a bear squat where we use those legs to pull ourselves back. So again, when you go down in that push-up, you're lowering down, holding, push the ground away, let your hips go back, and then just push back to center out. So on that push-up, it does help when I watch people, when you go down, don't think about coming back up, go down, think about staying down and pushing out and away. So we're gonna try those today. So 10 steps with the lunges, and then I want you to get 5 to 8 of those reverse push-ups. So if you're really great at push-ups, maybe you're gonna go more towards 8, maybe that's 6, 7 reps. Maybe that's a really difficult movement for you. You can go 5. Now you can go to the knees on that one. So you could go down, drop, push the ground away, and then center back out, drop, push the center floor away. Or if it's gonna give you too much trouble, and since I'm not there to coach you through it, you could always just do push-ups, okay? So those are the two. We spent a lot of time explaining that, so let's get going here. And 6 minutes on the clock. Here we go, 10 lunges total. So I might go off the screen here, just so I don't have to get busy turning around. So 10 lunges. Remember, you got 10 total. And then you hit 5 to 8 of those reverse push-ups. Okay, again, we're gonna start to be on our own route here. So just keep moving. I'm gonna trust you're gonna get all those reps in. You're only cheating yourself anyways. So again, stay low, push the ground away. Your hips just kind of push back to help. Make some room for your body. I'm gonna stay with 5 or 6. I've been healing a shoulder injury, so. And then we go right back at it. So you're working, ideally, no rest, especially if you're more advanced. I want you to not take too much time between those movements. We only have 6 minutes. And I want to see if you can get around 4 rounds in it. Okay, that's the goal. Another 10 steps. And those push-ups. Again, you can go just a regular push-up. You can even do a modified and work that. You could go down, push back, center back out, push back. Okay. At it. Let's breathe, let's move, let's use it up. So a few steps. Again, you can keep it a stationary if you need. Maybe you really have no space to travel. But always think about dropping down as you're doing that forward lunge. So we're not traveling into the leg, we're dropping down. Push-ups. So again, chest goes to the middle, hold, push away. I'm stopping at 6 there. If you're feeling great there, rock it out to 8. If you're like, dear Lord, just get me to 5, you get to 5. So we got about 3 minutes left, so we're halfway. Creak, creak, creak. Creak, creak, creak. Okay, let's keep moving here. So I'll show you with the knee drop, if you want doing that. Down, drop, push away. Really focus it on the arms, doing a lot of that work. Staying low, push overhead, center out. Stay low, push overhead. A few extra there. Okay. Whoop. So we will not revisit these, so give it your all. We'll get new exercises. In the past we've tricked you. You have to do it again. Here. Let's stick it out. Let's use up the time, get all the reps. All the reps here. Keep that core tight. We're in the home stretch, guys. So we're gonna hit about one more full exercise depending on what you're on before that time runs out. Stay the course here. Okay. Finish out the set. Oh, there's time saved. Okay, so take a breather. I'm gonna breathe so I don't sound terrible when I explain. The next thing for you. So same deal, 6 minutes, and we're gonna go between 2 exercises. This is where we are going to use our piece of furniture. So again, if you have a bench or something along those lines, something that kind of resembles this, you want to be up off the ground. If you did have a stability ball, so what we're going to do is a hip thrust. So with a ball, just in case you have the ball, it's very similar if you have a piece of equipment. So you want kind of that upper back, and you want kind of maybe where the top of our pants come for ladies, mid back for gentlemen. You want that down off the ball. So you can support your head if you'd like. You want to think about the hips dropping straight down below and pushing straight up. So what gets tricky about the ball is you can start to roll and get really thrown off. So think about it's a straight line from the hips and pockets to the floor and pushing them right back up that same straight line. So that way we're getting glutes and hamstrings here. So same deal for us with the furniture. We want upper back on the couch or bench. So again, now we're talking about
just lower than sports bra or mid back. And again, you can support the head. You could weight this. We can throw a weight on the hips or a bag or something heavy there. You could weight that. So again, hips drop straight down. We're traveling up that same straight line up to the top. So we let ourselves pivot off the edge. Okay, so my shoulders come forward, and then my shoulders are gonna end up facing back up towards that ceiling again, but the hips are dropping straight down and they're dropping straight up. So hip thrusts, again, add weight as need, and then we're gonna use that same thing, I will fix that, to do a tricep dip. So arms right outside the hips then. The farther the legs, the harder it's gonna be, the closer, the easier. Let your bum just kind of scoot right off, elbows come back behind, and then push up out of that for the back of the arms there. So those are our two movements. Apparently my set is just gonna collapse on me today. There we go. So ball or chair. Now, if you had the ball for your triceps, hopefully maybe you have some sort of ledge you can do that tricep dip off of. If not, you could take, so a band, step through, do an overhead tricep there, or you can do that same thing with a dumbbell. So again, if you only had the ball, now you can't dip off the ball, grab that dumbbell or band and do some sort of tricep press that way. All right, guys, get ready for those thrusts. Again, 6 minutes. I'm gonna have you get set. Now we are doing 12 to 15 of each. Okay, here you go. So again, you can place a dumbbell right on the hips there for a little added weight. Just kind of lightly hold it. Here we go, 12 to 15. Drop down, push straight up. Drop down, kind of hang up at the top for a second. Get that squeeze. Should feel the back side of the legs, glutes. Again, I'm pivoting on that chair. So on that ball, try not to rock forward and back. Just let it drop down, push up. Drop down, push up. So working at your own pace, 12 to 15, and then 12 to 15 of the dips, or some sort of tricep overhead that I showed. And that little hold at the top for a little extra. Okay, and then we go into the tricep. So I have a chair, I'm gonna use that chair. Again, you can do one of the other variations. So walk the feet off. You want your bum to stay as close to that chair or bench as you can. Elbows come slightly back behind you. Bending, pushing. Good. Should start to feel that. Ugh. All right, right back at it. So we got backside of the body. Earlier we worked more the front, so those lunges, so I'll talk, hopefully I can count talk. Lunges and stuff are more quad dominant, so we work more the fronts of our legs. You're still getting glutes on a lunge or a squat. We still work the backside, but they're predominantly moved through the front of the legs. Same with those push-ups. We had more the front of the chest, shoulders. Now we're hitting the backside. Make sure you're counting, 12 to 15. So now we got glutes, hamstrings, more focused, and then the backside of those arms. All right, back at this tricep one. So you could even do a seated overhead if that tricep press or tricep dip is bothering the shoulder. You could go here. I'm gonna stay with it here. And just make sure hips are close. Push down through whatever object you're using so you get that extra resistance and feedback. Should start to get a little tough towards those end ones. Okay, so we are halfway. So looking at about 4 to 5 rounds here. Again, drop down, push up. You want to keep the space between your shoulders and hips neutral or not bending. We don't want to feel like we're bending and arching at our low back. We want to feel like those hips are dropping and straightening. Pressing up, feeling glutes. Again, I'm pivoting on the side so shoulders come up a little bit and then they push down into that. So really great if you do have some sort of ottoman or sofa that you can fit on there. Okay, whew, starting to feel it. So remember, the more we use our muscles, so muscles have to use up glycogen, they have to replenish, restore, rebuild. The more that happens, the more strength training we do, the more we use up the long term, because those muscles have to repair. And the more lean mass, more muscle we have, the more calories we just naturally burn on our own. So even in the long term, especially when we talk about, you know, as we get older, can't lose weight, or body just metabolism isn't the same. And yes, there is some loss as we get older. Keep counting. But we can combat that with some strength training, men and women. If you do not resistance train every decade, you can lose anywhere from 3 to 5% of your lean body mass. That can equate to, like for me, up to 10 pounds every 10 years if I did not resistance train. So that adds up to a lot of things. Less strength, less energy, lower metabolism, quicker trip to a nursing home. All right. Oh, that's time. That's time. Go ahead. Take a second. Let's get into our finisher. So finish out your reps if you need. Finisher time. Once you grab up those gliders or towel or plates that I had you get earlier, or I'll show you a movement without it. So we're gonna go between two things. We will go with time, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds rest. So it's all about high effort, high energy between those two movements, 4 of each. And so we're gonna do a glider saw and squat jump, or you can do a triple extension jump. I'll show you that. So with the gliders, you're gonna put them on your toes. Show you from the side here. And on the forearms. So if you've come into the gym, you've done this. So starting in that plank position, chest are on top of elbows. Think about pushing back with your arms and then pulling back to that start. You want to avoid coming forward in your shoulders like that. So again, you're sliding back. Make sure I'm in the seam here. So starting here, push and pull back to the start. Really keeping that tension here. Now if you don't have gliders or a towel or plates that are going to glide on your floor, you can set that up, walk your toes back a little bit, and then you're going to rock back and forth on your toes. So you do want to kind of scoot to create that space to rock back and forth. The further back your toes, the harder that's going to be. And then squat jumps, obviously coming down and up, squat jump. So again, my legs are doing most of that, or less on the knees, a little bit easier on the legs, hips, and follow through that way. So I'm actually going to do that second one due to some earlier workouts I did this week. But those two movements, so glider saw or the rock backs, squat jumps or hinge jump, 20 seconds work, 10 seconds rest. I'm done talking. Starting with the glider saw, go ahead, get down, get ready. In that plank, go. So in that plank, pushing back, pulling back forward. Again, you don't have the gliders. You're here in this plank, walk your toes back and shift forward and back. Keep tension through the belly.
All right, hop up. Squat jump or that triple extension jump. So straight down or hips drive. Here we go. So hips drive back, follow through, or do more of a squat and jump that way. Forgot what I was doing. Here we go. Hips, jump, jump. Keep going. All right, back into that plank. Back in it. Core tight, blow out from the belly. Keep that belly tight. Remember, it's a small push back. Come back to the start. Small push back. As you push back, really keep that tension through the front. Don't let your back dip down. A little bit more. Okay, back up. We have 4 rounds. This is number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're going. Push. Good. Follow through. Get up. Woo. Soft landing. Almost fell over. Okay. Here we go. Halfway. Hit the deck. Lock it in. I need to get myself another room. Push. Remember, only come back to that start. Show you without the gliders here. Just a reminder, you want to avoid coming far forward with those shoulders. They should stop right in line with those elbows. Rock. All right, back on the feet. Let's get these done. 3, 2, here we go. Follow it through. No impact. You just come up on those toes. Still think about energy, hips propelling underneath. You can always give it more energy. Okay, let's do it. Last set. Core locked, loaded. Palms down. Breathe. Hang tight. All right, last set of jumps. You made it this far. Almost behind us. Woo! Here we go. Energy. Throwing 3-pointers all day. Swoosh. That's what I think about. Keep it going, guys. Awesome. Woo! Made it. Another workout done. As long as you push yourself, you put forth the effort, that's all that matters. Thank you guys for being with me. Thank you for sticking through if you're stuck at home doing these because you just can't go out. We appreciate you.